Amina was only 6 years old. Her eyes were red from crying. Her small body looked weak, but her heart? Strong. She didn't come to beg, she came to work. That morning, her mother had collapsed again from an illness no one could explain. At the small clinic in Houston, the nurse shouted, "If you don't bring money today, we're taking your mother off the bed." Amina didn't know any rich person. But she had heard stories. Stories about a powerful billionaire, Mr. Anthony Cole, the man who owned the tallest tower in the city. People said he was very rich, and very scary. No one dared to talk to him. But Amina didn't care. She wiped her tears with the end of her dusty dress and walked straight into the giant glass building. People stared. Eyes widened. "Whose child is this?" a security guard barked. "Go back to your parents." But Amina didn't flinch. She lifted her tiny hand and said, "Please, sir. I'm not here to beg. I want to work." The guard burst out laughing. "Work? This is not a playground." Still, she didn't move. She just sat on the cold floor near the reception desk. A woman working there, Monica, noticed her and walked over, kneeling gently beside her. "What's your name, sweetheart?" she asked softly. "Amina," the girl whispered, tears filling her big brown eyes. "My mommy is very sick. They want to send her away from the hospital. I don't want money. I just want to work, to help her." Monica felt her heart twist. She took Amina's hand and said, "Come with me." As Monica led her upstairs to the top floor, people whispered. Some looked away. Others stared at Amina's torn dress and dusty feet. But Monica kept walking. At the very top, behind a heavy glass door, Mr. Anthony Cole was buried in paperwork, his face as cold as ice. "Sir," Monica said gently, "I know this is strange, but someone is here to see you." "Do I look like I have time for jokes?" he snapped without looking up. "It's a child," she said quietly. "She says she wants to work for you." Mr. Cole finally raised his head. There she was. Amina stood silently with watery eyes, holding a wrinkled drawing made with crayons. It showed a small girl handing a flower to a man. Underneath, in shaky letters, it said, "Please let me work. I will clean your shoes. I want to help. My mommy is dying." The room went quiet. Mr. Cole stared at the drawing, then at the girl. Her feet were bare. Her fingers held her small bag like it was her only treasure in the world. He stood up slowly. "What's your name?" he asked, his voice no longer cold. "Amina," she said softly. "I can clean. I can run errands. I can help. Just please don't let my mommy die. I already lost my daddy." Mr. Cole's face changed. He remembered his own daughter, who had died at 6 years old. He walked around the desk and knelt in front of her. Gently, he took the drawing from her hand. "You want to work?" he asked. Amina nodded quickly. "Then come," he said, holding out his hand. Gasps filled the room. The man who never smiled just took a poor girl's hand, like she was gold. He walked her down the elevator himself and into his black car. "Let's go see your mommy," he said. Amina's heart pounded. She clutched his hand tightly as they drove through the streets of Houston. Inside the car, her legs swung in the air, too short to reach the floor. She kept peeking at the man beside her, the billionaire everyone feared. But now, he looked soft. Worried. He kept staring at her drawing. His hand trembled a little when he touched the crayon lines. Amina turned and asked quietly, "Sir, do you really want to help my mommy?" Mr. Cole nodded. "Yes." "What's her name?" "Halima. She's my mommy and my best friend. She doesn't cry in front of me, but I hear her crying at night." He gave a tiny smile, the first smile he'd shown in months. They soon arrived at a shabby clinic on the outskirts of the city. The paint was peeling. People filled the holes. The nurses looked tired and angry. Amina jumped out of the car barefoot and ran inside. Mr. Cole followed. "Where is she?" he asked. "Room 14, Amina said, pointing. But just as they reached the door, a nurse stepped in front of them and snapped, "If we don't get money today, we'll pull the drip and send her home," the nurse snapped. Mr. Cole clenched his jaw and pushed past her. In room 14, a pale woman lay weak on the bed. Her lips were dry, her eyes closed. It was Halima. Mr. Cole stood at the door, frozen. She looked so fragile. Amina rushed over and grabbed her hand. "Mommy," she said softly, "I brought someone. He said he's going to help." Halima opened her eyes slowly and tried to speak, but only a whisper came out. "Amina, where did you go?" "I went to find a job, Mommy," Amina said with a small teary smile. "So you won't die, like Daddy." Halima blinked. Her tired eyes met Mr. Cole's. He stepped forward. "My name is Anthony Cole. I want to help." Halima looked confused. She tried to sit up, but her body was too weak. Just then, a nurse barged in holding a file. "You again," she snapped at Amina. "We told you if you don't bring money today." Mr. Cole raised his hand. "How much is the bill?" The nurse paused, her eyes growing wide. $400 for treatment and $150 for past bills." Mr. Cole pulled out his phone. "Send the payment details. Now. And move her to a private room. I want your best doctor in there in 5 minutes." The nurse's mouth hung open. "Yes, sir. Who are you?" He raised an eyebrow. "The man who will shut this place down if you make me repeat myself." The nurse disappeared like lightning. Amina looked at him in awe. "Sir, are you an angel?" Mr. Cole knelt beside her. "No," he said softly. "But maybe you are." Doctors and nurses rushed in. Halima was moved to a cleaner, quieter room with better care. The same nurses who had once ignored her were now treating her like royalty. Amina sat beside her mother's bed, holding her hand tightly. Mr. Cole sat in a chair nearby, quietly watching them. Something in him had shifted, something warm, something human. Later that day, he called Monica. "Please bring some clean clothes for Amina," he said. He also brought her food, steamed rice, meat, and juice. As Amina ate, she looked up at him. "So, can I still work for you?" Mr. Cole chuckled. "Why do you want to work so badly?" "Because I don't want to owe anyone," she said seriously. "If you help us, I want to help you too, even if it's just sweeping your floor or carrying your books." Mr. Cole stared at her. This little girl had more pride and heart than most adults he knew. Just then, his phone rang. It was a call from his board of directors, an emergency meeting. He stood up. "Amina, I have to leave now. But I'll come back tomorrow." "Okay, sir," she said, waving as he walked out. Before he left the room, he placed a small brown envelope beside Halima's bed. It had $2,000 inside, more than enough for treatment, food, and rest. He didn't say anything. He just walked out quietly. Inside the car, he stared out the window, thinking about the daughter he lost to cancer 5 years ago. If someone had helped them sooner, maybe she'd still be alive. Maybe, helping Amina and her mother was his second chance. The next morning, Cole Enterprises in downtown Houston was buzzing. "Did you hear?" The whispers started. "The CEO came in yesterday, holding a little girl's hand." "Is she his daughter?" "No, she's some poor girl who came asking for work." Some laughed. Others rolled their eyes. But Monica, the woman who first brought Amina up, said nothing. She knew the truth. At exactly 9:30 a.m., the elevator dinged. And there she was, Amina. But this time, she wasn't barefoot. She wore a soft pink dress Monica had bought for her. Her hair was neatly packed into 2 little puffs. She still held her plastic bag, but her eyes looked brighter. Beside her was Mr. Cole himself, holding her tiny hand again as they walked through the lobby. Silence fell like snow. People stopped in their tracks and stared. "She's back, with the boss? What's going on?" Then Mr. Cole turned around and spoke loud enough for all to hear. "This is Amina, and she is my special assistant from today. Anyone who disrespects her, disrespects me." Gasps. Whispers. More stares. Some employees smiled nervously. Others didn't even hide their jealousy. Mr. Cole led her to his private office. A large space with glass windows, leather chairs, and a special corner table already waiting, with crayons, paper, and small toys. Amina looked up. "I don't know how to use all this." Mr. Cole smiled warmly. "You'll learn. You'll smile too." and toys were already set up for her in the corner. I don't know how to use all these, Amina said shyly, staring at the crayons and papers. Mr. Cole smiled. That's okay. You'll learn. And you'll smile too. Later that day, Mr. Cole had a meeting with some business partners. Amina sat quietly in the corner of the office, coloring. At one point she stood up, walked over to a guest, and whispered, "Excuse me, your shirt is dirty in the back." The man looked shocked. People giggled softly. But Mr. Cole laughed out loud. "Amina has sharp eyes," he said proudly. "That's why I hired her." After the meeting, one of the senior staff members, Clarence Benton, pulled Monica aside in the hallway. "What's going on here?" Clarence asked in a low voice. "Why is the boss turning a street kid into an employee?" Monica stayed calm. She looked him straight in the eye. "Because that little girl has more heart than some people who've worked here for years." Meanwhile, back at the hospital, Halima was getting better fast. The private room was quiet and clean. She was eating well and finally sleeping peacefully. A nurse walked in smiling. "Ma'am," she said, "your daughter is famous now." "The man she came with?" "He's the richest man in Houston." Halima's eyes widened. "My Amina, with a billionaire?" She sat up, still weak, but grateful and confused. Back at the office, Amina looked at Mr. Cole shyly. Can I call my mommy?" "Of course," he said, handing her his phone. Amina typed in the nurse's number with her tiny fingers. When the call connected, she spoke in an excited, cracked little voice. "Mommy, I wore pink today." She giggled, "And Sir gave me a job. I have a desk. With colors, and juice." Halima cried softly on the phone. "My baby, thank you. Thank you, God." That evening, as Mr. Cole dropped Amina off at the hospital, he turned to Halima. "I hope you don't mind. She's very special," he said gently. "She reminds me of someone I once lost." Halima's eyes filled with tears. "Sir, I don't even know what to say. Thank you. May God bless you." Mr. Cole nodded quietly. "Just focus on getting better. Amina needs you strong." As he turned to leave, Halima looked at her daughter in awe. "And Amina?" She smiled wide and whispered, "Mommy, he said I'm special." The next morning at Cole Enterprises, tension filled the air. Everyone whispered about the little girl again. But someone else had been quietly watching from the shadows. Someone whose silence was louder than all the gossip. Vanessa Hart. She was one of the most powerful women in the company, a brilliant inventor. Her ideas made the company billions. She was confident, fierce, and bold. People called her the Iron Lady. But Vanessa had a secret weakness. She was deeply in love with Anthony Cole. For 5 years, she'd admired him. Brought him coffee. Stood beside him at presentations. Traveled across states and countries for business meetings. But no matter what she did, he never looked at her the way she wanted. He never smiled. Never flirted. Never saw her. So when Vanessa walked into his office and saw him laughing softly, with a small girl sitting on his lap, showing him a crayon drawing, her chest tightened. She froze. The sound of his laughter felt like a slap. Like betrayal. She stood at the glass door, fists clenched. Then, she shoved it open hard. Mr. Cole looked up, surprised. "Vanessa." She didn't greet him. She marched right in and pointed sharply. "What is this child doing in your office?" Amina jumped a little, scared by her tone. Mr. Cole's face turned serious. "She's not just a child. Her name is Amina." Vanessa ignored that. "Why is a kid sitting on your lap during work hours? Why is she even here? This is a business, not a daycare." Amina quietly slid off Mr. Cole's lap and walked to the corner, her drawing book clutched tightly in her arms, her eyes full of confusion. Mr. Cole stood up, calm but firm. "She's my guest. She has a desk here. And she's helping with things that matter to me." Vanessa's voice grew sharper. "Helping? What can a 6-year-old possibly help with? Is she replacing your team now? Or maybe, replacing me?" Mr. Cole took a slow breath, trying to stay calm. "Vanessa, I respect your work. You're one of the most talented people in this company. But don't ever speak about Amina like that again. She's been through more than you know." Vanessa laughed bitterly. "Oh, so now you defend her? You couldn't even smile when I won you awards. But here you are, laughing at crayon jokes." From the corner, Amina watched them. Her little arms wrapped tight around her drawing book. Mr. Cole's eyes narrowed. "Vanessa, you're letting your emotions cloud your judgment. I didn't bring Amina here for your approval. She's not just a little girl." "She's not just any girl," Mr. Cole said quietly. "She's special." Vanessa Hart's voice cracked with emotion. "Special? Anthony, I've worked beside you for 5 years. I stayed late, traveled for work, created your biggest selling projects, and all it took to make you smile again was her." She pointed sharply at Amina. That's when Monica walked into the office. She had been standing outside and had heard everything. "Vanessa, please," she said gently. "This child is not your enemy. She came here looking for a job to save her mother, not to compete with anyone for love or attention." Vanessa turned to Monica, her eyes sharp. "Then maybe she should try an orphanage, not a billion-dollar company." Mr. Cole stepped forward. His voice was cold now. "That's enough, Vanessa." Even she froze at the sound of it. His face was firm. "If you ever speak about her like that again, you'll be out of this company. No warnings. No second chances." Vanessa opened her mouth to say something, but no words came out. Mr. Cole turned his back to her. "You may leave now." She stood frozen for a moment, then stormed out. Her heels echoed like thunder on the office floor. Monica rushed to Amina and hugged her tight. "It's okay, baby, don't cry." "I didn't do anything wrong," Amina whispered, tears filling her eyes. "No, you didn't," Mr. Cole said, kneeling in front of her. "You did everything right." He handed her the crayon that had fallen. Amina gave a small, shy smile and said, "Thank you, sir." Mr. Cole looked into her eyes. In that moment, he saw his daughter again. The same innocence. The same quiet strength. He made a promise to himself right then. He would protect Amina, no matter what. That night, Vanessa Hart sat in her luxury apartment, the lights dim. Her wine glass sat untouched beside her. Her heart was boiling with anger. In front of her stood 2 men dressed in black suits, private investigators. She had paid them to find everything about Amina and the woman in the hospital. "Talk," Vanessa said coldly, her eyes sharp. The taller man stepped forward with a file. "Her name is Amina, but she's not the biological daughter of the woman in the hospital." Vanessa narrowed her eyes. "Explain." The man opened the file and continued. "The woman, Halima, works as a janitor in a small diner in South Houston. 6 years ago, witnesses say a newborn was found crying behind a warehouse near a popular nightclub. Halima lived nearby. She heard the cries early in the morning and found a baby wrapped in dirty cloth." Vanessa gripped her wine glass tightly. She took the baby to a clinic. When no one came to claim her, she kept the child. There was no legal paperwork. No formal adoption. Just word of mouth. Vanessa's lips curled into a sneer. "So the girl's a street pickup. A nobody." The second man added, "We also found one of the old midwives from that clinic. She confirmed it. Halima raised Amina with love, but they're not related by blood." Vanessa leaned back on the sofa, a dark smile spreading across her face. "Well, this changes everything." The shorter man asked quietly, "Should we release this info?" Vanessa walked to the window, looking out at the glowing Houston skyline. "I'm not a monster," she said slowly, "but I know how to use the truth." She turned around and smirked. "That little girl wants to work? Let's see what happens when the world finds out she was abandoned, raised by a woman who has no legal claim over her. Let's see if Mr. Cole still keeps her close when the truth hits the air." Meanwhile at the hospital, Amina sat beside Halima, humming a soft tune. She carefully helped her mommy eat soup with a tiny spoon, smiling like it was the happiest day in the world. "Mommy, guess what?" "What is it, my love?" Halima asked weakly. "Mr. Cole said I can sit in his big chair tomorrow." Halima chuckled softly. "Really?" Amina nodded excitedly. "He said I'm his little helper." Halima looked at her daughter and blinked back tears. You're more than a helper, Amina. You are my gift. The best thing that ever happened to me. Amina beamed. I love you, Mommy. I love you too, my little angel. Outside the hospital, hidden behind a parked car, a man held a camera. He snapped photo after photo of Amina and Halima through the window. He picked up his phone and made a call. I have the photos. Vanessa's voice replied through the phone. Good. Soon, everyone will know the truth. And when people find out, that little girl will wish she never stepped into Mr. Cole's life. The next day in his office, Amina wore a soft yellow dress with white shoes. Monica had picked it out for her. Her hair was braided into a neat puff, and a small flower clip sat on the side. She sat quietly at her little table in Mr. Cole's office, coloring. When Mr. Cole walked in, he smiled playfully. Good morning, assistant, he said, raising a pretend salute. Amina giggled and stood. Good morning, boss. He sat beside her and looked at her drawing. Who's this? That's you, she said, pointing at the tall figure. That's me, and that's Mommy with her soup. Mr. Cole laughed. You made me look chubby in this one. Just then, Monica knocked and entered, holding a tablet. Her face looked uneasy. Sir, there's something you need to see, she said. He took the tablet and looked at the screen. The headline read, Exposed, Billionaire CEO takes in fake child, abandoned orphan found behind warehouse, not real daughter of sick woman. His face hardened instantly. He scrolled down. There were pictures of Amina feeding Halima, photos of Halima outside the diner, and even a grainy image of a newborn wrapped in cloth. The article was full of cruel words like, sympathy scam. Street girl manipulates powerful CEO. Orphan with a secret. Amina looked up and asked softly, What's wrong, sir? Mr. Cole slowly lowered the tablet and looked at her, then at Monica. Who did this? Monica hesitated. We're still checking, but I'm sure Vanessa had something to do with it. Mr. Cole stood up sharply. Call my lawyer. And send someone to check on Halima right now. His jaw tightened. No one, will use this child's past to ruin her future. Not on my watch. Across town, Vanessa Hart sat on her balcony with a smug smile, sipping juice. This is just the beginning, she whispered. Back at Cole Enterprises, Mr. Cole slammed his office door behind him. His hands shook as he stared at the headline on the tablet again. His eyes were red. His breathing uneven. Did this story move you? Round Pushpin, drop a comment and tell us where in the world you're watching from. We'd love to know. Thumbs up if this story touched your heart. Smash that like button and show your support. Memo, and don't stay silent. Tell us what kind of stories you want us to create next. Your voice helps us grow, and your suggestions might inspire our next unforgettable tale.